Welcome to the Lakers Nation newsfeed. My name is Trevor Lane, senior writer for LakersNation.com, your one-stop shop for all things Lakers. Today's show is brought to you by Simple Contacts. Head over to simplecontacts.com/LakersNation and get $30 off your next order of contacts. Again, that's simplecontacts.com/LakersNation. Super easy to use. Highly recommend you give them a look. So today's show, we're going to talk about the Steve Nash trade. Hold on, Lakers fans. Don't get too queasy and nauseous just yet. I know this one hurts, right? The Steve Nash trade, that was the trade that was supposed to keep the Lakers contending for titles throughout Kobe's twilight years. Didn't work out, ended up blowing up in the Lakers' faces, and it was something that definitely hurt the franchise overall, especially when they followed it up with the Dwight Howard trade, and then, of course, we know how that all went down, but it's not as bad as it could have been. The final piece in the Steve Nash trade is just now going to be conveyed to the Philadelphia 76ers. They're going to get the 10th overall pick in the 2018 draft, and that means all of the requirements of the Steve Nash trade have finally been met in 2018. The Steve Nash trade was in 2012. So we're going to take a look at what happened here and why it took so long for this draft pick to convey, and why this deal wasn't as bad as it really looked for the Lakers. So here's the deal. The Los Angeles Lakers had Pau Gasol and Kobe Bryant as their stars, and they knew they needed a boost in order to keep contending for titles. Kobe's getting a little older at this point. Pau Gasol's getting a little bit older, and they want to do something big that's going to help them contend. And they managed to trade for free agent Steve Nash. Okay, Steve Nash is a free agent at the time. The Lakers are going to give the Phoenix Suns 4 picks. 2 firsts and 2 seconds in exchange for Steve Nash, who was a free agent, was probably going to leave Phoenix anyway. So for the Suns, this was a big haul because they were getting something for a guy that was going to go for nothing, which, I mean, is huge, right? I mean, the Lakers would have loved to have gotten something for Dwight Howard rather than watch him walk away for nothing. The picks they ended up giving up were their 2013 first-round pick, which was 30th overall, was used to pick a guy named Nemanja Nedovic. Okay? The other pick, the second-round pick in 2013 they gave up was 57th, used to pick Alex Oriaki. In 2014, they gave up a second-round pick, which was 36th. Johnny O'Brien was selected with that one. Okay, so there's 3 guys that were picked with those draft picks the Lakers gave up that, okay, they didn't really hurt the Lakers that much. Right? That's not that big of a deal to lose an opportunity to draft those players. Those aren't guys that you're going to be kicking yourselves over years down the road. Now, the other first rounder that they gave up for Steve Nash, and we need to mention that Steve Nash only played in 65 games for the Lakers over the course of 3 seasons, didn't play at all in his final season, still collected a contract, his salary from the Lakers. Lakers fans were really frustrated with that Nash really didn't live up to what they were expecting from him. But that final pick was supposed to convey in 2015, but the Lakers, this is under Mitch Kupchak's GM, were smart enough to put a protection on that pick. And it was going to be top 5 protected. So if it fell in the top 5, the Lakers wouldn't have to give up that pick. Now, nobody thought that the Lakers would have a top 5 pick in this draft. Everybody assumed, hey, the Lakers have Steve Nash. The Lakers later get Dwight Howard. They still have Kobe. They have Pau Gasol. They're going to be good for a while. This pick's going to end up being like 30th or 28th or something. No big deal. It's not going to hurt them. Well, thank goodness that the Lakers decided to put this protection on the pick. Top 5 protected. The Lakers that season, this was after Kobe's Achilles injury, made him a much lesser player. He wasn't able to be the same Black Mamba that he used to be. And things had fallen apart with Dwight Howard. He left for the Orlando Magic. And the Lakers in that season ended up having the 4th worst record in 2015. 4th worst record in the league. Gave them an 82.8% chance of staying in the top 5. Pretty decent odds, but still, I was sweating it out on draft day in 2015. I remember it. I was watching the ping pong balls and praying, just like a lot of Lakers fans, that they would bounce the Lakers' way. Unfortunately, they did. The Lakers actually ended up with a 2nd overall pick in that draft, and they used it to pick D'Angelo Russell. Cool. So that means that 2015 pick that they owed transfers to the next year. Now they owe it in 2016. And don't forget, along the way, the Phoenix Suns do trade this pick to the Philadelphia 76ers. So they're going to then have that pick. But In 2016, the pick was only top 3 protected. So most people were thinking, okay, well, the Lakers didn't lose the pick in 2015. They're probably going to lose the pick in 2016. Odds aren't going to be very good that they'll keep it. Well, they finished with the second worst record that season in the league in 2016, gave them just over a 55% chance of keeping their pick. If 2015 was a nervous time, 2016, man, we were sweating it out. We were hoping the Lakers would somehow manage to hang on to this pick. I mean, you had Ben Simmons and Brandon Ingram at the top of this draft. Everybody had their fingers crossed that the Lakers would be able to somehow keep this pick. And lo and behold, the lottery gods once again smiled upon the Lakers and they got the second overall pick. So in 2016, the Lakers end up picking Brandon Ingram. Then that means the pick that they originally owed in 2015, has now transferred from 2016. Now it's in 2017. And again, it's top 3 protected. Top 3 protected one more time. And the Lakers wind up with the third worst record in the league. Again, back in 2012, no one could have imagined this, that the Lakers would be this poor at this point in the season. So in 2016, third worst record gave them a 46.9% chance of keeping their pick. Remember, they only keep it if it lands in the top 3. Otherwise, it goes to the Philadelphia 76ers. Again, the lottery gods smile upon Los Angeles, and they get the second overall pick, which they're going to use on Lonzo Ball. This pushes that pick that was originally supposed to convey in 2015 down the road one more year to 2018, and this time it is unprotected. The Lakers had a better season in 2017-2018, and they finish this pick and winds up landing at 10th overall. Not that bad. That could have been so much worse. This is a rebuilding franchise. Who knows the way things could have gone? You could have been forking over a very nice pick to the Philadelphia 76ers or Boston Celtics, because the Sixers wind up using part of the pick in a trade. But all in all, 10th overall pick, that still has a decent amount of value. But again, it could have been so much worse for the Lakers. And remember, last summer, 2017, there was more than just one pick riding on this. Because the Lakers' first-round pick got pushed from 2015 to 2016 to 2017, that meant that the first rounder that the Lakers owed the Orlando Magic from the Dwight Howard trade, that one also got slid down because there's something called the Stepien rule. You can't trade your first round pick in consecutive years. It's to try to save owners from themselves. So because of that, the pick owed to the Orlando Magic kept getting pushed down further and further down the road, and you can only trade picks so far into the future. I believe it's 7 years. So the Lakers, don't quote me on that, but I'm pretty sure that's right. So the Lakers put in a contingency, and the Orlando Magic put in a contingency that said, on the off chance that the Lakers don't send their pick to, at that time it was the Phoenix Suns, in 2015 or 2016 or 2017, if those protections come into play, then the pick owed to the Orlando Magic, because they can't push it back any farther, instead becomes 2 second rounders. And that's exactly what happened. When the Lakers kept their pick in 2017, that meant instead of owing the Orlando Magic a future first rounder, instead they owed them 2 second rounders. It is far more preferable to give up 2 second rounders to a team rather than a first rounder. So that was a big win for the Lakers as well. So think about that. 3 picks, 2 seconds and a first in 2013 and 2014 that the Lakers gave up that didn't amount to a whole heck of a lot. A first rounder to the Orlando Magic that gets converted to 2 second rounders, so the Lakers lucked out there. And then the pick they do wind up giving up ends up only being the 10th pick in the draft. Remember, they could have been giving the 4th pick in 2016 to the Sixers. They could have been giving the 4th pick again in 2017 to the Sixers. Imagine if that had happened. Imagine if the Lakers didn't have Brandon Ingram right now. Imagine if the Lakers didn't have Lonzo Ball right now. How does their rebuild look at this point? That puts them in a much more difficult spot. So even though the Steve Nash trade was not a positive, it's not something that anybody's in the Lakers organization or any Lakers fan is going to look back fondly upon. Same thing with Dwight Howard. Nobody's going to look back on those days and think, oh man, that was great. Those were the glory days. No, those trades were terrible. They blew up in their faces. But you know what? Steve Nash was a former MVP. Steve Nash still showed quite a bit the previous season before the Lakers traded for him. And he looked pretty darn good despite being 38 years old. Dwight Howard, at the time, was considered to be the best center in the league. These are home run moves that the Lakers made. And if all goes according to plan, if everything goes well, these picks that they're giving up are not going to be that big of a deal because they're going to be so late in the draft anyway. It did blow up in their faces, but at least the Lakers were smart enough to put those protections on. And fortunately, the protections came into play big time and prevented the damage from being way, way, way worse than it ended up actually being. So yes, we can still hate the Steve Nash trade. We can still hate the Dwight Howard trade. We can hate the position they put the franchise in. Heck, you can even hate David Stern for vetoing the Chris Paul trade, which is what made the Steve Nash trade necessary. Right? All of those feelings can still be there, but keep in mind that there is a silver lining here. Could have been a heck of a lot worse for the Lakers. They actually got off pretty light when you consider what was at stake. That's going to about do things for me today. We'll wrap it up right there. Again, my name is Trevor Lane. You can find me on Twitter at Trevor_Lane. Now that the draft lottery is set, the NBA draft is coming up in about a month. The Lakers will have the 25th pick. We're going to be talking all about that. We're also going to be talking about free agency and all the other major storylines in the world of the Los Angeles Lakers coming up. Don't forget, guys, head over to LakersNation.com for all the latest Lakers news. See ya.